Go
Is
live.
live?
Yep, it's live. Wait, let's see. I got the live chat right there.
That's so funny. So is this like the live right there though?
Yeah, you see right here.
Oh. Hi. Bye.
I don't know if it's working yet. Let me see. Oh yeah, people coming in. Hey guys, what's up? What is up? What's up, guys? How's everyone doing on this fine, what day is it again? Tuesday. Let's see. Y'all can hear me all right? Hey, what's up, bro? Let me know if you guys can hear me good. You guys can hear me good? Just let me know. Cause I've been working on this microphone for the last like 2 hours. Just gotta know. Yes? Okay. Perfect. Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag, so you know. It's not always gonna be super fast, but let's go. Let's get it. Come on. What questions do you guys have? Let me turn this light off. I'm getting blinded. Okay. Let me know what you guys got. Let me move this a little bit back. All right, so I'm waiting for the questions to come in. Let's see. Okay, first question is by SB Production. He says, "How do you maintain your languages?" It's a process. I heard a quote from Luca Lampriere. I'm always fucking up his name. The Italian polyglot king, who basically said that the challenge once you start knowing a lot of languages is not like learning more languages. It's actually maintaining those ones. And for me, it's like usually what I do is try to do 30 minutes of Anki a day, and I try to refresh my old languages, and then also I will have italki calls in basically all the languages that I'm not trying to lose, that I'm maintaining. So that helps me learn little by little. Okay, let's see. Nikolai says, "I'm supposed to be studying and your video pops up." I mean, there's only one option. There's only one thing that you can do. You can watch that video. Studying, I don't know about studying. Let's see. Some more questions. What daily routine did you what did you use to learn French? It's basically the same as my just FME method. Yeah, shout out to everyone who's bought Fluency Made Easy. You guys are the best, the readers. Yeah, I mean, I go over it very, very heavily in the book, but basically, yeah, all I do is especially for French, it was pretty easy. I just started with Pimsleur. I used it for a good maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 months. I did usually like 2 lessons a day, something like that. And then eventually I switched over to using Assimil. And then after that, I just watched a whole lot of Netflix, Marseille, 10%, just a lot of stuff. And not only just like French TV shows, but the big thing and the thing they don't teach you in school is what you should do. I think I've made a video on this. Is you really should rewatch shows that you've watched before in the language that you're trying to learn. So, for example, I watched all of Hunter x Hunter because that shit is my favorite anime. Put in the chat if Hunter x Hunter is your favorite anime. And I watched it all before in Japanese. Now, this time around, I watched it all in French, and I didn't use any English subtitles, and it helped me so much because I already knew what was going to happen, and I focused more on the language than the entertainment part. Next question. Let's see. how far along should I be in 3 months or 3 months in? I mean, it really depends on the person. I can't give a concrete answer there. I would say that you probably have some music that you already like. You've built up a playlist. You've probably worked yourself through Pimsleur, and you're at like a using an upper beginner program like Assimil right now. And yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to give an exact estimate. Damn, there's a lot of questions. By the way, for everyone saying thank you, or everyone saying congratulations, I got this in reverse. For everyone saying congratulations, thank you. I do appreciate it. You guys are the best. Honestly, it's been crazy. It's happened so fast from like 100,000, from like 0 to 100,000, then 100,000 to 200,000 is completely different story, and we're gonna be going all the way, hopefully together. So. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. What is your goal of learning a lot of languages? So this is something, I think everyone has a different goal. I categorize these things into 3 different things. I still don't know how to call them properly. The first one are like what do you call someone who plays Pokemon? I don't know. So for example, the first category of learner is like a fluency Pokemon catcher, Pokemon master or something. Someone who wants to catch them all. This is more of like the Lao Shu 55,000, like Moses, that guy kind of style, where you learn a lot of languages to like A1, A2 level, like just so you know the basics, so you can go out and talk to people. My personal thing is what I like to do is I want, my goal is to try to get to like a B1, B2 level in all of the languages that I speak, and also the next 4 or 5 that I want to learn. And then on top of that, I'm going to spend the next like 5 years like really hammering them away, just making sure that they're all B2 level. That's my personal strategy. Some people like, you know, going for a language to C1 or C2, or basically like super fluent, like, you know, 10,000 words and stuff like that. That is great if you're going to be living in a country, or if that's your personal goal. But for me, it's always been like a mixture of that and a mixture of the Pokemon method. So that's my personal goal. Let's see. Spooky Drip just gave me some hearts. I'm going to give you some hearts back if I find out how to do it. Let's see. There you go. How did you learn kanji? So kanji is a thing that I really do not like. I mean, I don't think anyone who's learning Japanese likes it. For me personally, my focus is on speaking and listening. I don't really have any plans on moving to Japan. So in the beginning, I did want to learn kanji. I tried to get into it, but eventually I just figured like, if my goal is to see someone on the street and talk to them, the time I would spend learning kanji, which is a lot of time, which is, I mean, it would take me a good few years just to get to the same level as an average Japanese 7-year-old. That amount of time, I was like, listen, I can put that time that I was going to learn kanji into actually speaking practice. So, for example, italki lessons, and that's going to serve me much better in my goals, because my goal is not to really study languages for university or anything like that, or for a job. It's really just to talk to people, and if I travel to Japan, I can, you know, shoot the shit and have good conversations. So I have no problem learning how to read in languages like Russian that actually have a proper alphabet. But for Chinese and for Japanese, the time investment isn't worth it for me, for my goals. But I know if your goal is to really move to Japan or to China, yeah, you have to use some form of spaced repetition system for that. Probably I guess Anki or anything like that. I know there's a few programs kind of like Anki. Memorize kind of does something like that. Yeah, kanji and Chinese characters, because there's thousands of them, and some, I know in Japanese also, they have 2 different ways you can pronounce each single character. So it's a lot of things to memorize. You got to use some spaced repetition for that. Let's see. Can you do a skit called How to Become Ikenna? I think that kind of be boring. I think, I don't know. I was thinking of doing kind of like a parody video of like you know how there's so many day in the life videos nowadays, day in the life of a software engineer, day in the life of random people, right? I was thinking of doing like a day in the life of professional YouTuber where I show you the very serious job of being a YouTuber, because yeah, it would be some kind of parody thing, because people take those day in the life videos way too seriously. So I would do some kind of, I don't know, try to make it my own. Could be funny. I don't know. I like just doing short sketches though. They're my bread and butter. I like that. Can you speak Spanish for us? Sí, un poquito. Whoa. That's the first time someone ever donated on chat. That's crazy. Risa, what is up? Thank you for sharing your methods. I finally am gaining confidence in learning language, learning Spanish. I'm like so excited. This is like the first time someone's given me a super chat before, which makes sense. It's the second time streaming. Had my first italki lesson, went better than expected. Yo, Risa, I'm very glad for you. I'm glad that that's happening and that everything is going good in the world. I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, I did release a new course called Online Tutor Master. It's onlinetutormaster.com if you want to check it out, which is like all about using italki tutors and really how to master the way you use online tutors based off my personal experience. But yeah, not gonna go into that just right now. I'll probably say that to the end, just because I would like to talk about that, just because I'm proud as fuck of it. But yeah, so let's see. What languages do you find easiest to learn? Statistically, they're going to be languages that are the closest to English. So, for example, Spanish, French, Norwegian, Dutch. These are languages that are pretty close to Spanish, or pretty close to English, and they're not too innately difficult. Nothing too crazy grammar-wise, nothing too crazy pronunciation-wise. Those are probably the easiest, but for you shouldn't really be looking for easy if you're looking to learn a language, unless you really just want to do it just to check off the fact that you learned a language. The easiest language that's going to be for you is just the language that that you are genuinely interested in the most. I started off with Japanese first, and honestly, that was a big clusterfuck, and especially because I started that when I was 15 years old. Another one. Quando. Wait, I'm gonna come. Don't worry, I'm gonna react to your comment real quick. But when I first started learning Japanese, yo, that was something else, because I was 15 years old, and everyone says, I don't know why they say it. Everyone says that Japanese is supposedly the hardest language to learn as an English speaker, and that was the first language that I taught myself. So it took me a much longer time to actually, I just didn't have the experience. So it took me a much longer time than if I had learned it from scratch, starting today. But yeah, I mean, it didn't matter how hard it was. I was very interested in it, and I was very interested in the culture. And by the culture, I think we all know what I'm talking about. It's the anime, and samurai movies, basically. But that was enough for 15-year-old me. I got hooked with that Sword Art Online, and then I was gone. Let's see. Hey brother, when will you open up a Discord for your community to learn together? Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I'm gonna have to try to look at chat at the same time. It's gonna be tough, but I really do want to open up two things. The first one is, and maybe you guys saw this on my Instagram and also on my community page on YouTube, is really a community. I want to build a very, very strong community centered around language learners and centered around the fact that I want a community that can instill confidence into people who are just starting to learn a language. I want a community of people who, quote unquote, know that they can, meaning that they know that they can learn a language, and because they've put in a lot of time and effort, they can help transfer that same confidence to newer people. A place where really it's like you you come there and maybe you have a little bit of doubt whether you can do it, whether you can learn a language actually, but literally everyone in the community is so helpful, so kind, so motivating, and it really acts as a place that you can go, you can log your progress, other people can hold you accountable, and they can motivate you, they can give you all the resources, they can answer your questions. I really want to build something like that, and I think the way that would be structured would probably be in the form of a forum, which I'm not sure if it's old school. Maybe I'm dating myself. I'm only 23, but maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know. I think there's still a lot of popular forums out there, Reddit being the major one. But I would definitely want to do a forum and maybe a Discord too. The only problem I have with Discord is that forum is cool because if you have a problem or if you have a question, you can leave it, you can post it and other people can reply, and that sticks around forever. Whereas a live chat or like a Discord, it's a live chat, so that eventually it's gonna kind of circulate outwards. But maybe combining the two is good. I don't know how you guys feel about that, if you would like to be a part of something like that. But that is my next big thing that I really want to do. I'm just gonna read the chat a little bit. What's your favorite manga or anime? Asked by Peppermint. Well, I already said Hunter x Hunter is definitely there. Death Note. How about for these last 2 seasons? Because I've watched probably upwards of 100, 200. Swear I'm not a weeaboo. Hey, that ain't me. But this last season, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Come on! Demon Slayer, if anyone's watched that, oof! That was a crazy anime. Write in chat if you've watched Demon Slayer. Apart from that, what else was very, very good recently? There was Dororo, which is pretty good. Yeah. Right now, this new season's a bit tame. I'm watching Assassin's Pride. I'm watching Choyoyo. I'm watching a few, but I still don't know. Attack on Titan. That last season was the best thing I've ever seen. Anyways, weeaboo-ness aside, let me help you guys. That's a lot of questions. How did you learn German? I don't know German. I haven't learned it yet. How do I find a host family like you did in Japan? What I did for Japan is I found a place that it was like a language course, and because it was a language course, they were the ones that hooked me up with host family. But I'm sure if you just search for like host family programs, Tokyo or Japan on Google, you'll be able to find some stuff. Can I learn 4 languages at the same time? Probably not. I like to use the castle analogy. When you're trying to learn a new language, it's like you're building a castle, right? You're building a castle, and it's possible. What is possible is to build a castle while you have already other castles established that you just do little renovations and little updates to. That's fine. But if you're trying to build 4 separate castles all at the same time, that is that's a bit tricky. That's very hard. So how that relates to languages is, I would say you can learn 1 language max at a time. That is the best formula that you see most of the major polyglots around YouTube and in the world doing. Just that one singular focus is very powerful. But if not that, then what you could do is technically do 2 languages at the same time, but that's the absolute maximum. You can learn 1 language or 2 languages at the same time, and then you can learn other languages that you've already studied and you're just trying to, update a little bit and make a little bit of progress with. But learning 4 at the same time is a bit tricky. Another donation, Nojus, I'm not going to pronounce this right, even though I'm the language guy. Nojus Signius, I don't know how to say this. He asks, how can I improve my French? I don't know because I don't know the level I'm at because I live in France for a few months and it's going too slow. The way to improve your French and like any other language that you're learning is just I mean, if you're actually in the country, it's really just to make friends that are around you, or that are native speakers. Apart from that, it's just really immersing yourself in a bunch of French TV shows or French dubbed TV shows. I'm around. Let's see. Cool. What is your favorite rapper? I don't know. You see, that's tricky because you would expect me to start naming off like Travis Scott and a bunch of like American rappers, but yo, Higher Brothers though. If anyone knows Higher Brothers, the Chinese rappers, I listen to that on repeat more than any other rapper. I don't know how to say his name, but I've been listening to Anderson .Paak and YBN Corday. I think that's how you say his name. They have some fire songs. They have that fire song together. But apart from that, I'm definitely into the Chinese hip hop scene a little bit, and Japanese rappers. I love Ko. Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any tips for building a YouTube channel, especially like a language learning one? The biggest, I probably will make like a course or some kind of guide about, you know, creating YouTube channel, because I mean, I was able to go from pretty much a broke college student dropout actually to, you know, doing this full time, and the freedom that it gives me and the fulfillment that it gives me to actually, you know, share my passions with you guys is unreal. So I would definitely recommend to start a YouTube channel if you if that's what's in your blood and that's what you like doing, you like creating content, go for it. My biggest tip would be look for the trends. I started off the way I got popular. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know this. Basically, I did reaction videos, which is, you know, such a novel idea, not such a novel concept. But basically, I did reaction videos, but the way I made it my own, because they were trending at the time and they were popping, but the way I made it my own is that I reacted to music from the countries like that I essentially I speak their language. So for example, I reacted to French music and I could speak French, and I would surprise people because I'm American with dreadlocks, and all of a sudden, boom, I hit them with French. Same thing with like Russian reactions, German reactions, although I don't speak German. And that's how I got that initial traction. So I think for anyone who wants to build a YouTube channel, you have to figure out what your niche is. But on top of that, you also have to you have to be a little bit flexible in the beginning with the content you make, and try to identify trends and hop on them, but make the content that you create your own. Whew. Okay, let's see. Has anyone discouraged you from learning a language? No, not. Yeah, yo, Aaron Moore, definitely look up Higher Brothers. They're sick. So L Rafita 1548 says, has anybody discouraged you from learning a language? Apart from in the beginning when I told my school friends. No, I think the school friends were the only people that I told. And that was when, I first started off with Japanese, and I got a bad reaction from them. From that point on, I just, I completely, yagami lighted it, right? I just kept it to myself, stayed in my room, and I wrote those notes, okay? I did all the language, the language stuff without really telling people. Even the funny story is, I didn't even want to tell my parents after I got that negative reaction from telling people in school for that first time. So what I did was, when I must have been like 17 years old, I actually wrote, I learned Japanese for a good 7-8 months, and I didn't tell my parents. Every single time they would come next to my door, I would pause my Pimsleur, I would pause my Assimil, and eventually I surprised my mom on Mother's Day with, voice a little bit dry, but on Mother's Day with a with a card that I wrote in Japanese, and she was like shook, and that was very cool, surprising my family like that. I generally recommend people to kind of keep your language learning motivation to yourself, just because of the fact that, you know, whether you start telling everyone that you're going to learn it, or whether you keep keep it to yourself. The better option usually is to keep it to yourself, because if you tell everyone that you're going to learn something, and even if they're like, yo, that's amazing, go for it, you're so cool, it's actually been scientifically proven that you can be less likely to actually complete your goals, or to go after your goals, because you're already receiving a reward before you even do anything, which is like praise and social acceptance. Same thing if people like shit on your dreams, it's never good. So yeah, I really keep that to myself, at least in the beginning. Who's your favorite polyglot YouTuber? Come on. I think it's a tie between Moses, and you guys probably know Moses or Lao Shu, and Timothy Donor. Even though Timothy Donor, if you guys remember him, the teen that can speak 20 languages, he's kind of like the Avatar, because he disappears for like hundreds of years, and then he comes back to YouTube. So yeah, probably them two. But I would love to do a collab with Timothy Donor in the future, because we're both from New York, so maybe I can try to make that happen. But it's gonna be tough. Salut, Pierre. Let's see. Peppermint asks, have you mixed up words from different languages? If so, how do you help yourself with that? I do in the beginning of learning a language, or if I'm like having an italki lesson, and like I'm going from like Chinese, and my next lesson right after that is like Spanish. Yeah, for the first few minutes I will do that, but it's really not much of a issue. Your brain is very good at compartmentalizing. Did I say that right? I don't know, but I think you get it. What's the pros and cons of learning Russian? I don't think there's any cons. There's lots of pros. You know, I mean, I don't think there's any cons of learning any language, really. I mean, maybe if you live in a place that is a bit ignorant, I mean, they might dislike the fact that you're learning Russian just because of politics. But you know, there's nothing bad about it. I mean, learn whatever language that floats your boat that you want to learn. Joe Cleland, I recognize you because you were the first one to get online tutor master, and I really do appreciate that. Joe asks, what is your method of using Assimil? So basically, the way that I go through Assimil is very, it's pretty much by the book. Initially, I was going through and I was doing all the exercises and stuff, but eventually I stopped doing the exercises, and I just go look at the translate. I listen to it at least, I don't know, probably I listened to it 2 times. Once like without looking at the text, then looking at the text. Then I haven't used Assimil for a while, so I'm kind of blanking on it. But basically, I just remember that I listened to it a lot of different times, both looking at the translation and not looking at the translation. And I only really do look at the translation and the little grammar notes. I don't do the exercises anymore because it's not the most efficient use of my time. I'd rather just import any cool or important words that I learned in Assimil straight into Anki. So yeah, it's gonna be much better for me in terms of remembering. Sorry guys, there was a little schmoll. I don't know where this schmoll came from, but let's see. What do you do when you lose motivation? So motivation is fleeting. You gotta build discipline. Motivation is one of these things where, yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where you just, for me, oh, okay, never mind. For me, the biggest thing is knowing that eventually you're going to have to cultivate discipline being defined as making yourself do things even when you don't physically or mentally feel like you want to do them. The coolest thing that you probably should do, for the most useful thing you should probably do in terms of motivation, don't study too much per day. Do not study too much per day. I don't care how excited you are. If you start regularly studying 2 hours, 3 hours a day, you're going to burn yourself out. Another thing you should do, my sweet spot usually is 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day. And on top of that, I supplement that with watching media or listening to music. And when I find a really cool TV show, it makes me subconsciously want to be that character in the TV show, whoever my favorite is. And because of that effect, it really does motivate me. I can be not wanting to study this language, and then I will watch a little bit of TV shows, or I'll watch a YouTube video, and then I get that motivation back. So I think media is probably the biggest thing that you can do in terms of that you can utilize to your advantage for motivation. But just know that eventually, instead of building up discipline, you should build up a routine. Something, just like when you wake up, you brush your teeth. That's normal. You don't really have to be disciplined to brush your teeth. Now, brushing your teeth only takes 2 minutes, but it's because you've really made it a habit. It's like you don't have to think to yourself actively, oh, do I want to brush my teeth today? Usually you do it without thinking. If you're going to try to transcend discipline, then you have to kind of go through that. You have to build up a routine. You have to build up a habit. A good book on that is The Power of Habit by, I forgot the author's name, but if you Google The Power of Habit, definitely check that out. Oh my God, it's Rihanna. Let's see. So Joe also said, hey, Ikenna, I love your book and your tutoring course. Can't recommend it enough. For Assimil, do you also translate language 1 to language 2? Or do you... It's cool, huh? Yeah. Or do you use Anki for it? Let's see. For Assimil, do you also translate language 1 to language 2? Yeah. I also do language 1 to language 2. And in terms of Anki with Assimil, is your question more like, do I use Anki at the same time as Assimil? Because I do. I will take, I will work myself through a Assimil lesson, and I will ask myself the question of, okay, the words that I'm learning in this lesson, what are the most valuable or the most useful words that I can take from this lesson, and what can I discard? Because sometimes with Assimil, you do get random things that they throw at you that might be the 6,800th most used word in the language, and you just don't need that. If they're talking about polar bears, they're talking about just very kind of niche words that you don't really need to know, then you leave those behind. But, there might be in your Assimil, the word might pop up in a lesson like imagination, or to think, or huge, or words that are very, very commonly used and very, very useful. And whenever I see those words, I will always instantly just create a language 1 to language 2 card in my Anki with the English first and the language 2 second. Do you speak Igbo? I don't speak Igbo. I was not. I know small. I even pidgin English a little bit, but not really, man. For me, Igbo, I really want to learn it. It's a shame my dad didn't really raise me with it, but I mean he got over to America and he created a family there, so he did plenty. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of jealous because all my cousins can speak it, but I can't. But I'm going to have to teach myself, and I think it's a cool challenge, because just like Chinese, the reason why I only learned French for maybe 7 months, 8 months in total, 6 months you saw already in the transformation video I did, and then another 2 months on top of that, actively, is because I was seduced by Chinese. I was seduced by the challenge of it, because I heard Chinese oh, it's so hard, da 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 da. I was like, listen, I'm gonna do my first tonal language, I'm gonna get it, and yeah, I like the challenge of it. So Igbo, I think for me, if you guys don't know Igbo, it's a Nigerian language. It's my ethnic group's language, and like 40 million speakers or something like that. Not many resources out there. Little bit of TV shows. Yeah, there's some movies. There's Nollywood, but it's it's gonna be challenging. But I'm looking forward to it. And then once I do learn Igbo, I do really want to make like a guide or a course, like really just showing you step by step, like really for people who are learning exotic languages and showing them how step by step to learn exotic languages when there's not a lot of resources available, because I'm sure I'm gonna have to come up with some creative things for that. I think someone asked where I'm from. I'm from New York. I was born in New York. I can show you guys something cool though. So I was born in New York, but I'm actually, well, I have 3 nationalities because my mom is British, but both of her parents are Irish. So I have Irish citizenship. My dad, like I said, is Nigerian, so I have Nigerian citizenship. And I was born in Massachusetts, raised in New York, so I have American as well. There you go. So part-time polyglot YouTuber, part-time James Bond, CIA spy. Let's see. Do you recommend taking language classes in college? Definitely. College is probably the best time you could take a language class, because in middle school and high school they're not really too useful. In college they can be not useful, but there's more of a chance that they have like an advanced class. So definitely I think if it's a language, only if it's a language that you're passionate about. Don't just do one to pass, you know. You don't want to do that just to pass the class or to get an easy A. Like, listen, make sure if you're learning a language in college, it's something that you're passionate about, something that you want to learn by yourself already, because then you can study it by yourself. You can study it in college. You can get an easy A, and you also have access to resources and people that will want to speak it with you, like your professor, for example, assistant professor, or, you know, fellow classmates. I'm living right now. So I'm a complicated kid. So I went to school I went to college or university in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and also in Rotterdam, and also in Enschede. Those are the 3 cities I've lived there. I've lived in the Netherlands for 4 years. Now I'm in Brussels with my girlfriend that you just saw, and because she's Belgian. So I don't live in New York anymore, but I definitely do want to move back there eventually, because can you imagine the videos? I mean, maybe not now, but maybe in the future, if I know 3 or 4 more languages, I can kind of do those Moses or like these social experiment type videos where you just go and you speak a lot of languages. And because I am half black and I have dreads, I can definitely surprise some people when I whip out my Russian or Chinese and whatnot. It's just that I'm not sure if I can title my videos as clickbaity as Moses, because Moses can use the black man. I don't know, he has very like interesting titles, like black man surprises Asian women and da 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 da. I'm half black, I can technically use the same titles, but maybe I'm gonna have to change it up a little bit. But I would really like to use my languages to actually go out there and talk to people and surprise people and get those reactions on camera, because sometimes I swear there's been moments in my life where, you know, because I don't look like I can speak a certain language, like for example Russian or Japanese, I've had the craziest reactions, and it is so like, if you want to talk about motivation, that shit will motivate you for days, weeks, years, because it's like when you see people treat you a certain way just because you speak their language, it's amazing. There's been times where I went to a Japanese hair salon in New York City. With my hair, I don't know why, right? But I went in there, and he just, you know, he did the sides and stuff, And I didn't actually bring my, I think I didn't have like cash on me or something, and he needed cash. Now, granted, this is New York City. I could have bounced, and I could have said, oh yeah, let me go to the ATM. I'm gonna, I'll pay you, whatever, and I could have left, right? But I offered. I was like, hey man, listen, I'll leave my jacket here just so you know I'm gonna come back. It was an expensive jacket. I just need to go to the ATM to get the money. But the funny thing is, because probably for 30 minutes I was talking to this guy in Japanese, he was like, no, just go. I trust you 100%. You come back and you pay this. Because I had that, I don't know, because I was speaking to him in Japanese, and he was very like surprised, and I was asking about it, his like hopes and dreams and where he sees himself in 5 years, and I really developed a connection. And there's been so many moments like that. Probably even better than that. I think that's kind of a weak example, but yeah, I really do want to do videos like that. Can you learn Portuguese, please? I think I will. Probably Brazilian Portuguese. I see it in the future, definitely. Do you know any good language? Chopped says, I'm going to try to read your comments, or your names, guys, but trust, no promises, because I always forget. Chopped says, do you know a good language-related career to pursue? Interpretation could be interesting. Translation could be interesting. It's very, very intensive career field. Becoming a language YouTuber could be interesting. I mean, always teaching kids like foreign languages like foreign languages, like in different countries. For example, if you go to Japan or what, like wherever, like Korea, whatever. That could be really cool. Anita Bell is asking me if I can still speak Chinese. 对啊，会说普通话. Okay. Afroneko says, love your videos. They're super motivational and fun. Assimil Japanese is hard to get where I am. What would be the best alternatives? Ooh. I've always relied on Assimil for Japanese just because they have that just available, and Assimil doesn't have a lot of languages available. If not that, I know Japanese has a lot of interesting textbooks, for example, like Genki, and it has a lot more resources than a lot of other languages do. So perhaps Genki. If you're looking at grammar, Tai Kim could be good. I'm not really sure, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe other people in chat can help you out with that, just because for me the only thing I really relied on was Pimsleur and Assimil for Japanese. I do have like a section of my ebook, Fluency Made Easy, where I do talk about a bunch of alternative resources, so I would recommend you to check out that. But off the top of my head, I know there's Living Language. I'm not sure if they have a Japanese course, but for me, Assimil was the king. But even if you did get Assimil, the one of the problems with it is a little bit dry, and it's kind of hard to keep people motivated using it, which is why in my last video I was like, someone needs to create a very fun app that is just as effective as Assimil. But yeah, Genki could work from what I've heard, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. I don't think Russian is available in Assimil. I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Assimil Russian with ease. No, they do. There's the super pack. It says learn Russian for English speakers. Yeah, Assimil definitely does have a Russian course. I would look into that. Yeah. Okay. Juwon Denson just says Living Language has a Japanese course. I would look into that. Someone said Catgirl9167 says Duolingo kind of sucks. Hey, I can't I can't make any comments on that, but it's just don't overly rely on one app. That's all I'll say. Will you upload the stream on YouTube? Definitely. I definitely will. Let's see. Ollie Rivers says, as a teenager learning French at A level, what can I do to improve at a faster rate whilst unable to go to school? Since you're saying A level, I'm guessing you're British, and also because you use the word whilst, which I love. Yeah, Ollie, so the biggest thing is watching TV shows and media in French, or let's say, for example, if you have Netflix, if you watch Avatar The Last Airbender, which most people have, and if you like it, then basically you can watch Avatar The Last Airbender in French. This is just an example. But if you already know every single thing that's going to happen in the series, if you already know everything that's going to happen in the series, you can literally put it in French. You can have no English subtitles, or you can put French subtitles, whatever. And that is one of the ways that you can learn very, very quickly. On top of that, you can use programs like Glossica or Assimil. I think that would definitely help you out. But I think being smart about how you use media can be really, really, really effective. And also using Anki, I'm not sure if you've used it before, but using Anki, which is like a flashcard program, to write down any like cool new important words that you learn, so you always remember them, can be very effective as well. Any tips on Chinese shows? Go to viki.com. I think it's still called viki.com. They have tons of Chinese shows. You can watch them for free. And on top of that, they have learn mode, which is literally like dual subtitles, English, Chinese, and you can like hover over the Chinese and see the translation in English. Is really, really cool. Woo, my voice is getting dry. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot of comments. Wait. Can you... Connor Pickard says, I can speak easy but not listen well. I watch TV, but it's too fast. It's too fast to hear the language. What should I do? So it seems like you have you have potentially two problems. One is a vocabulary problem. Two is an inexperience problem. So what I mean by that is usually if you're trying to watch TV shows without subtitles, it's going to take you realistically anywhere between 6 to 9 months if you're effective with the way that you learn before you can start watching TV shows without subtitles and understand most of what they're saying. If you find yourself watching TV shows and you really just can't understand the majority of what they're saying, it's a vocabulary problem. You have to add, you have to memorize new vocabulary words, and you need to expand your vocabulary. It's like, I use this example in my book, but it's like, when you're first starting off, if you have a vocabulary of like 500 words, it's like maybe you can understand 30% of what you hear. But the second you have, let's say, a vocabulary of 2,000 words, or even 1,000 words, or 3,000 words, then you start filling in the gaps very easily, and you can start learning through context. So the easiest thing I could tell you is just to up the amount of vocabulary that you learn, that maybe you learn it through Assimil, you learn it through Duolingo, whatever, but definitely try to learn more words. And when you learn more words, it's going to be much easier to improve your listening skills. And you can also book italki lessons as well to start talking, because I feel like once you're able to speak, listening becomes much easier. Let's see. Someone had a good question, but I just scrolled past it. Damn. What are your favorite French YouTubers? I always like Cyprien. He actually shouted me out on he's like, I think the former largest YouTuber in France. He shouted me out on one of his videos, which was super cool. Especially because I actually learned French through watching his videos in the beginning, which is really cool. French YouTubers are really good. The production quality is amazing for them. Let's see. What language learning things do you recommend for literally broke teens? So if you don't have much money to buy products with, or to invest in language learning apps or anything like that, then I would recommend to watch my video that I did on learning languages the free way. I forgot how exactly I titled it, but just like go to my YouTube channel, go to the search thing, and just search like free, and that video should pop up because I did a whole video on that. Are you gay? No, I'm not gay. There's my girlfriend who's just popped up in the background just a few minutes ago. Any African languages you're learning or looking? I'm gonna be learning Igbo in terms of African languages, so definitely gonna be doing that. What are some good YouTubers? Let me check. Wait, who am I subscribed to? Like polyglots or what? Long Beach Griffey, yo, he's so funny. Come on, he's my guy. But apart from that, Lao Shu, of course, in terms of like language learning YouTubers. I'm big into like, not big into, but I'm interested in that, like the Myers-Briggs thing, and the Jungian functions. So I do watch a guy called Love who's pretty cool about like the whole MBTI thing. I watch a little bit of KSI every now and then. I'm gearing up for his big match with Logan to see what's gonna happen. Quia Techo says, can you put time stamps on this video later? Yeah, I can try. No promises, because I'm probably gonna go to sleep after this, but I can definitely try. Or maybe someone else in the comments can do that. That would be very helpful, especially because there's a lot of comments. But the video is going to be live afterwards, so if someone can help me out with that, I would truly appreciate that. Okay. Natik says, thank you, Ikenna, for being awesome. I'm truly grateful to have such an inspirational idol as you. Yo, thank you. I appreciate that. Stick around. You're not going to be disappointed. I'm going to try to. Yeah, I mean, my main goal is really to make people laugh as much as possible, to help people actually with like learning, not just giving them, oh, study hard every day, but actionable advice, and to help people as much as possible. And on top of that, just to build up a community and try to inspire people. So if that sounds good to you and you stick around, I really do appreciate your support. Thank you. How many languages you're able to speak? I'm working towards my 7th. It's always interesting when you say speak. So for me, a speak is usually like a B1 level, or like conversational fluency kind of starts at B1. So yeah, I would say I'd say 6, but I'm working towards my 7th, which is Spanish. My other languages have started to, not necessarily, my speaking in other languages has declined a little bit, just because I haven't used them. But if I want to reignite those languages and refresh those languages, I can do it probably within a week or two. But every single language that I know, I've had like hour-long conversations in only that language. So I feel pretty good with all of them. Let's see. Man, my voice is getting dry, and even more than this. Tokyo Ghoul. Let's see. Wait. How do you listen? Jonas asks, how do you tackle the struggle of Russian grammar? This is the thing that I was talking about with speaking, because what I did in the beginning with Russian, I just brute forced it. I watched like Bidnaya Nastya. I watched Brigada. I watched a lot of like TV shows, and I used Pimsleur. I used a little bit of Assimil, and I spoke with people, pen pals. So my Russian was very casual, and my grammar was pretty bad, but I could actually talk very fast, and I could shoot the shit with people and be like, "Да нет, братан, ну ладно, давай, пойди," like really just like colloquial shit. But only recently I went back to my Russian, revisited my Russian. I was like, listen, I can speak pretty fast. I have a pretty good произношение, like pronunciation, but damn, I didn't really notice all this hard подожди, or like this cases stuff and this grammar stuff. So for Russian, I'm still working on that. I think when I do finally master Russian grammar, I'm going to come up with some kind of guide or video, because it's not easy, but little by little, the biggest thing is just taking it case by case, and not like in the English, like English, this is like an English phrase we say, case by case, but no, literally like Russian case by Russian case. You go to the genitive, then you go to the prepositional, and you work on each case with like an italki tutor until you really master them, and then you just start speaking a lot. And then whenever you're speaking, you try to conjugate as accurately as possible, and you get feedback, and you improve. Let's see. So Travel Tales, Mon says, "Hey, Ikenna, why did you move to Belgium?" So I moved here because my girlfriend's here. So she's Belgian. She's from Brussels. So and we love the French. We love the ability to just be able to speak French in public and out and about. So it's been a good life so far. We are looking probably to moving back to New York in like I don't know, a few years, something like that. So, but for the time being, it's Belgium. Oh, okay. So Christy22 asks, is it possible to become fluent without a tutor of any sort? So yes, if you're surrounded by native speakers that you can practice with, or you have pen pals. But no, if you don't have pen pals, you don't have native speakers, you can't. Maybe you can become like reading fluent and writing fluent. But for me, that's personally kind of boring, just because for me, it's like language, you need to be able to communicate with language. It's kind of a waste of a language if you get it to such a good level where you can read a Harry Potter book, but you don't know how to speak to people. It's kind of weird. But so I'm assuming that you're talking about like conversational fluency. I don't think so. Conversational fluency is a skill. It doesn't matter how much like words that you know. If you're not using them actively, if you're not creating new sentences and practicing talking with people, it's gonna be very, very tricky to reach fluency. You really need to be practicing. You don't necessarily need to do it with a tutor, maybe with a native speaker, maybe with, I don't know, I guess like a native speaker or like a pen pal, that can work. But yeah, apart from that, it's kind of tricky. Good night, Nadix, if I said that right. Yeah, I have to do a video on motivation, or I have to do something on discipline, because it is a big topic. I mentioned it a little bit before, Yoshush there. But basically, my go-to thing for motivational boosts is just watching TV shows and listen to music and watching music videos and watching YouTubers, and for whatever reason that really motivates me, especially when I get hooked on a good TV show and I want to be like the character that I'm watching. Motivation wise, that helps. What you should do is try to look past motivation and realize that you have to make language learning a habit, just like you make brushing your teeth a habit, just like you make putting on pants before you go outside a habit. Like, just make it, condition your brain so it's something. You have a set time to do it every single day, whether you have to wake up a little bit earlier just to do it, or you have a set time later in the day, and you do it no matter what for at least 21 days straight, because they say it takes 21 days to build a habit. And there you go. It's easier. It's harder than it sounds. Really, it's harder than it sounds. And I know it's not necessarily easy, but try to use media to your advantage in terms of motivating you. Do you know any Japanese YouTubers with English subtitles? Not really. I don't know too many Japanese YouTubers. Do you still know Spanish from Tishiyama Williams? I wanted to do a 4-month challenge with Spanish, but basically I've been working on my course that I just released. It's called onlinetutormaster.com. If anyone wants to onlinetutormaster.com. If anyone wants to check it out, that's the link. So I've been working on this course for a very, very long time, for months. So it took my energy away from Spanish. But I keep on saying, like, this week I'm going to get into Spanish for real, but it keeps on becoming next week. So I got to take my own advice and really start building up that habit. But I'm going to get into it soon, and I really want to try to innovate, because I've had this FME method for maybe a year or two. I really want to not necessarily like create a new method, but like optimize it and see like how can I get to a conversational level in conversational fluent level in Spanish quicker than I've ever been able to do it in any other language. That's kind of what my goal is. So I'll be sure to share my advice and my progress with you as it comes. Oh, this is a nice question. Samantha Colucci asks, what is your favorite Japanese or French or Russian dramas? My favorite Japanese drama, there's one that's old school. It is called Great Teacher Onizuka. Maybe you know it. Great Teacher Onizuka, aka GTO. And I like the old school version, but I know there's a new version that just came out like a few years ago. That's pretty cool too. It's amazing. It's super funny. Definitely check it out. French, Les Revenants. It's not necessarily a drama, but it's a TV show. Les Revenants, if I'm saying that correctly. And it's so cool. It's about like basically this town where dead people come back to life, like, but they're not like zombies. They're like just like they got revived, and no one knows why. And it's such a good TV show. Russian dramas, I watch like babushka dramas. I watch like dramas for like grandmas. I watch Tatiana Dien. I watch Bednaya Nastya, because these are the only ones that I could find on Viki. But yeah, I mean that's that. What are some good Korean YouTubers? Yo, Solfa. I'm not sure if you know Solfa, but they're the guys that do all the social experiments and like the 30 men, one girl, speed dating, Korean interviews, whatever. Really cool channel. I would recommend to watch it even if you're not learning Korean, because it's really interesting stuff. Do you speak Hindi? No, I don't speak Hindi. I was considering learning it. I'm not sure. It would be like one of the last languages I learned, definitely in my 20s, but my dad really raised me on Bollywood movies. My dad, even though he's Nigerian, big muscly dude, like his Bollywood is his weakness. So I know of quite a few Bollywood movies, and they do have a place in my heart. So potentially, yeah. I know if you guys know what's it called? Tu mere dil, tu mere jam, oh I love you, daddy. It's from Akele Ham Akele Tam. There's that movie I watched. Amazing Bollywood movie. Do you think an Anki is inevitable for learning Japanese? Yeah. Definitely. There's a lot, especially if you ever want to learn kanji, there's a lot of words, and it's going to take you much longer to memorize 3,000 words or 2,000 words without Anki than it will with Anki. So I definitely would recommend Anki. Let's see. Mocha 12 asks, "How are you feeling these days?" I'm doing good. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Panky 343 asks, "What is the hardest thing about learning a language?" Same thing as learning any skill. It's the dedication. It's the dedication. It's the consistency, and it's just staying motivated. more so than anything specific about any other language. I mean, pronunciation in like Mandarin is quite tricky. Grammar in Russian is quite tricky, but you can learn anything given like enough time. It's just, can you keep that motivation? Let's see. I'm gonna answer maybe like 5 more, and then I'm gonna probably sign off because it's been an hour now. So 5 more questions. Let me have them. Let me have them. Let's see. Best Spanish TV show on Netflix. Yeah, I just watched Casa de Papel. That is great. If you guys know more Spanish TV shows on Netflix, definitely send them my way because I would like to watch them. I really want to start watching them. But yeah, Casa de Papel is my favorite, and it's the first. It's like the only one I've watched though, so it's not saying much, but I love it. Oh shit, that's a lot of questions. Okay. The dragon asked, "What is your favorite quote?" I'm not like a big quote person. There's a lot of people that put quotes all up on their walls and stuff like this. I'm not really. All my quotes are inside here. My favorite one is probably just I think it's a Chinese proverb or whatever, but the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. And it really is just so true about it, every single thing in life, That was the realization that I had when I was 15. When I first started learning languages, I was like, listen, one day I'm going to wake up. I'm not going to be 15. I'm going to be 25. I don't want to wake up, in the future empty-handed and like kind of being ashamed that I wasted my time. I want to wake up, knowing a lot of different languages. And people are always like, it's the same thing with YouTube. People are always like, is it too late? Or same thing with languages. People are like, oh, I should have learned it when I was a kid. It's too late for me. Da 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 da. But there's no better time now to start, because if you start now, guess what? 2021 is going to roll around before you know it. And if you start now, you'll have another language or 2 under your belt. If you put it off and you put it off and you put it off, you're still going to get to 2021 anyways, and you're not going to be able to speak any other languages. So that's the trade-off, really. Okay, a few more questions. How old are you? From Enrique. I'm 23 years old. Watch Elite for Spanish. Yeah, my girlfriend's already watched Elite, so I think I might rewatch that with her, definitely. David Sinister says Netflix El Ministerio del Tiempo. Time travel. Oh, okay. That could be interesting. I'm going to write that down. Thank you, David. El Ministerio del Tiempo. I'll check that out. That looks cool. Thanks, man. Thanks a bunch. Let's see. Can you use Quizlet instead of Anki? I haven't had any experience with Quizlet. I'm presuming that you can, assuming that they do the same thing. Sure. Watch Fractured. Oh, okay. I'm gonna write this down. God damn, I'm gonna just do a. This is Spanish too or no? Oh no, this is American. I swear I'm gonna just do the live stream every single time I need a Spanish TV show recommendations. Let's see. Watch La Rosa de Guadalupe. Okay. Just taking all these recommendations right now. La Rosa de Guadalupe. Let's see. Oh, that one definitely looks like a drama. Dutch girls versus Belgian girls. I gotta go with Belgian just because my girlfriend is Belgian. I can't answer any other way. Hell no. But yeah, my girlfriend's Belgian. I choose Belgian. Let's see. What are your keys to success in Russian? I think the biggest thing is just learning, not trying to don't get too weighed down by the grammar, so as like you struggle to kind of like you struggle to speak to people because you're so worried about getting grammar wrong, but at the same time realize that grammar is very, very important in Russian. We can say, Mary gave John a car, right? But in Russian, you can say car, Mary gave, like you can mix up the order because the word order isn't as important. What is more important is the cases, and it's something that is kind of like a weird concept from a lot of English speakers, but the word order is much more flexible. But what isn't flexible is the cases. So trying to get those out of the way. Maybe let's say you learn Russian just nicely and easily for 3 months, and then once you start getting to that few month in kind of point, then you can start really kind of going hard on the grammar, getting that out of the way in the beginning, and that's definitely good. I'm Lego says, when is the time to move to another language, and how soon is too soon? Too soon is... So what you want to do, you want to get to B1 level first, which is, I think, like roughly knowing like 2,000, 3,000 words or something like this. Basically, you don't want to leave a language too soon. Like, I would say, like, at least give it 9 months to a year before you leave a language, because what ends up happening is a lot of people, they will learn a language for 2 months, 3 months, and they will stop for a month or two, and they will try to get back into it, and they realize, oh shit, I forgot everything. And that's because you need to get that language or whatever language that you're learning to a certain level, and I call it the clicking point, but basically past this clicking point, past like the time where it clicks inside your head, so you never forget that language. And usually for most people that's around B1 level. If you only know 500 words and the basics, and then you quit and then you try to get back into it, or you're trying to learn a new language, that language is going to go away. But by the time you know around 2,000, 3,000 words, and you've spent a good 7, 8, 9 months, maybe even a year learning it, and you're starting to understand like TV shows without subtitles, you're never really going to not understand. You might lose your speaking skills, sure, but definitely try to get to like a B1 level. Hey, Maddie, thank you for the support. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, I'm gonna do rapid fire for this next like 3 minutes, and then I gotta go because my voice is fried and it's almost 11. Let's see. How many? Let's see. Another of. Okay, let's go. How difficult was it to learn Japanese? It wasn't too difficult because I was having a lot of fun with it, but it was challenging in the sense that grammar is completely Yoda-esque and it's very backwards. So it took me a long time to wrap my head excuse me, to wrap my head around the grammar, and I still haven't really completely gotten it yet. But it's challenging, but it's fun because there's so much resources and there's so much media for Japanese. It's crazy. From anime to dramas to Netflix to, Japanese is very fun. Asled says, hey, Ikenna, I have a question for you. Do you know where to find books in original version? What exactly do you mean original version? Like the original version of the language that you're studying, or? Let's see. Damn Fine Gaming says, how do you get used to the Yoda-like structure of grammar that Japanese has? You just have to kind of, it's just exposure. Just expose yourself to as many authentically spoken Japanese sentences as possible. Glossika is good for that. There's a program called Glossika. It kind of really hammers you with word order and correct syntax and stuff. But really, it's just, speak a lot, whether it's to tutors online or to people in real life, and then, and just doing it. Just really rinse and repeat until it's really ingrained. Syrian Soper says, what does your book offer that others do not? I'm on the fence about buying it at that price because it's not a hard copy. So one really cool thing is actually I'm releasing an audiobook tomorrow. I just had an audiobook professionally read. So that's going to be available tomorrow, Fluency Made Easy. What's different about it is it really is actionable. I've read a lot of books like was it Fluent Forever, or even Benny Lewis's book, and they're a little bit outdated now. My one is very, very up to date, but on top of that, it's a lot of general stuff. And if you ever go on YouTube and look at most language learning advice, it's very general stuff. And what I mean by general is it's like stuff that isn't actionable. It's like, be consistent. You have to be consistent, or it's like, try to stay motivated. Speak fast, or like speak in the beginning, speak often, and speak confidently. It's very like vague stuff. Or it's very abstract, studying what like super polyglots have done, but it's never really going into the mentality of things and how someone might feel when they're learning a language, especially for the first time. So my book, one thing I'm proud of in there is just that I really cover the mentality that a beginner is going to go through during the whole process, especially learning their first language. And that is something that's very, very important to go through. And also I give so much actionable, practical content. The book is only 80 pages, not because it's like I got tired of writing, but because a lot of books are 300, 400 pages when they don't need to be. There's like a core of information that they want to give you, but they wrap it around in so much fluff. My other thing is there's no fluff there. It's a lot of just practical information. Use this, don't use this. This is how you will feel, etc. Will you learn Korean? Definitely. Korean is come on. How can I not learn Korean? Come on. That is. I can't wait for that. It's probably gonna be after Spanish. No guarantees though, because I would like to keep whatever I'm learning after Spanish a surprise. But just on the down low, yeah, Korean. I'm 100% going to learn it, and I can't wait. Karen Natasha says, tips please. I need to get to level B2 in French from A1 in the next 4 months. Yo, what you gotta do is gonna be in 4 months. Literally study 2 hours a day. Use a program called Assimil Made Ease, and also I think it's also Assimil Using French or Mastering French, whatever. There's 2 Assimil programs that you would need to use, and you really need to spend a lot of time to go through all of that. On top of that, watching a lot of French media and really immersing yourself in French content would probably be the best ways of learning a language super quick. Okay, guys, we're going in the action round. I'm no longer choking on my Lipton, so we're going to answer as many questions as possible in the next 5 minutes, I'll say. So I'm gonna put a timer for 5 minutes, and then I gotta go. 5-minute timer. Okay, let's put this up a little bit. Okay, let me put it. Okay, ちょっと待ってくださいね。Okay. So it's a speed round. Let's go. Okay, what do you think about immersion? Very, very useful. Immerse yourself in all the content possible. Just do it. Trust me. Just do it. You need to really put yourself in a place where you are just consuming as much and listening to as much content from native speakers as possible. Next, Are you learning Yoruba? No, I am Igbo ethnically, so I'm going to be learning Igbo in the future. Have you ever tried learning Cantonese, Chinese? No, not yet. Did your memory get better with learning all those languages? From Fu, who asked that. Yeah, actually, I feel like it has. I feel like I know a lot of words now, so it could be a little bit easier to mess up. But definitely, your memory is a muscle like anything else, and the more you work out, the better it gets. Let me put this up a little bit. Let's see. How do you not mix up languages? Well, your brain is very good at compartmentalizing. So really, I don't mess it up. I don't know how to explain that. It's just, learn a few languages, especially if they're very distinct from each other. If they're Spanish and French and Italian, yeah, you're gonna mess it up. But if it's Spanish and Japanese and Russian and Dutch, it's like completely different. So, the differences in languages really help. How can I learn Korean? Get Fluency Made Easy, my book, and that's gonna show you every single thing. That's a really broad question. I can't really answer that, and especially not in a rapid fire mode. Let's see. What do you think about mnemonics? Mnemonics is pretty cool. If you guys don't know what mnemonics are, it's basically like just associating words with like images. So it helps you remind it. It helps you like remember words. I would say look into something called the Memory Palace by it was created by I don't know, the origins are unclear. Some people say it originates from Cicero, the Roman, and basically it's really cool. Just Google it. Could be very good for your memory, especially for languages. Let's see. Say oi. Okay, oi. There you go, Gustavo. Oi. Or in Japanese, or proper Japanese, but oi oi kore. Let's see. Have you any recommendations on nonfiction books? If you're talking about language learning, not necessarily, but life books. Deep Work is very, very cool. I just read a deep work. I'm very bad with author names. Also, The Power of Habit would be very, very useful for you guys. It just talks about how long it takes to build a habit and how powerful that they are. Let's see. I didn't even set my timer yet. Fuck. Let's see. Set. Okay, cool. It's set now. No, is it set or not? What the Are, nani kore? Kuso. Okay, 5 minutes. Yes. When is Alexa when I need her? Okay. Tashima Williams. Yeah, I've watched Tokyo Ghoul. Yeah, it's amazing anime. I like it. I heard people say the manga is better, but people always say manga is better. Are you Asian? My channel. No, I'm not. I am half. Where's my passports? They're good. Where are they? I'm half Irish, half Nigerian, but I was born in America. Connor Pickard says, will you ever make a Patreon? No, I'm probably going to do like a channel membership thing here on YouTube, which would be try to do like a monthly live stream on there. But I don't know. It's quite a bit of work just to do a Patreon and then to do to do your YouTube channel and to create courses and to do this. I would just like everything to be on YouTube or on the website that I'm about to put out. But maybe I don't know. Let's see. Swedish, not in my plans, but potentially in the future. MR17 says, how are you? I'm pretty good, but I only got 3 minutes left. Let's see. Language family video, please. I'm not actually sure what you mean by that. Maybe speaking languages to my family or talking about like different language families. I don't know. No, I've never used Babbel. Do you read a lot of books? Only if I'm trying to get a bit of information out. Let's see. How do you choose between two languages? Whatever I like the most, really. It's just I can't really describe it more than that. What are the thoughts? Let's see. Do you read a lot of books? Not really. Not really. When, like I said, whenever there's a purpose or something that I can really pick out the book to apply to my life, I'll read it. Do you speak? Let's see. Do you speak language from Nigeria? No, I'm learning Igbo in the future, but currently don't speak one. How do you still remember those languages? It's just practice. It's just going after it, day by day and recording a little bit. How many languages have I learned so far? I already answered that. Basically 6. So learning my 7th. Can you do a French video, please? Yo, wait, it's coming. Don't worry about that. Amsterdam meetup, maybe. Why not? 2 minutes left. Let's see. Let's see. Alternatives to Pimsleur. I talk about in my book Fluency Made Easy. Living language, Michelle Thomas, off the top of my head. What languages are you planning to learn? So I was debating myself earlier today. I was like, oh, what should I learn? What should I learn? I already had a plan for all what I wanted to learn, but I think I might have changed that plan a little bit. I definitely want to still learn Korean, and Igbo, and every other language apart from that is pretty much, I'm still deciding on maybe Italian, maybe German, maybe Portuguese. I'm not sure yet. How many actual language and grammar does Assimil using French contain? It contains a lot. I think after you go through it, you get introduced to like 2,000 different words, and on top of that, quite a lot of different grammar rules. Goodbye, Tashima. Let's see. How many hours a day to study? I found that the best time is 30 seconds to 30 seconds. Oh, I'm tired. 30 minutes to an hour a day. Definitely. 30 seconds a day is all you need. God damn, if that was someone's pitch. Nah, 30 minutes to an hour a day is the best. Do you speak Arabic? No, I don't. Let's see. Croatian and Serbian. I just went to Croatia. It's an amazing country, but no, I can't speak that. Where do I want to live next? Probably Paris, probably New York. Don't know yet. More French videos, please. Stay tuned for this week. I got something interesting coming. How many? There's so much shit. I want to do like 1 or 2 more. Videos on language theory or the history of the language. That could be very interesting. I might mess around with that in the future. And my favorite language, this is going to be the last question. My favorite language is whatever language I'm learning currently. So right now it's Spanish. Boring answer, but it's the truth. I think Japanese was my first love, so there's always a love there. I think Chinese is super cool. Russian makes me feel badass. Dutch was more practical because I was living in the Netherlands. French is, very sensual and fancy and has a very good, it rolls off the tongue nice. And yeah, and Spanish is my new love interest, so that's what I'm learning right now. But thank you guys so much for coming out. Yeah, it was a special occasion. We just hit 200,000 subscribers, so let me just thank you guys there. Thank you so much for hitting 200,000, for helping me to hit 200,000. It means a lot to me, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. I will try to do a live stream every single time we hit a big milestone, and maybe in the future I might do like a channel membership thing where I like do a live stream once a month for members. I don't know. But definitely like whenever there's a big milestone, maybe like at like 250,000 or 300,000 or 500,000, I don't know. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Lekker bezig. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, my next live is going to probably be whenever we do something more crazy. Stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing a new video this week. And yeah, take care guys. Bye-bye.